So this video is about how to tape your rifle Walter style. This is basically how he taught me. So what you're going to need is strapping tape, black and white electrical tape, a screwdriver, and cotton balls. I like the reinforced strapping tape. So first what you're going to do is you're going to unscrew your bolt and take that off, of course, and your strap, and you got to take that off so it's just the wooden part of your gun, nothing else. If your rifle doesn't have padding like mine, what I like to do is take up cotton balls, tear it apart a little bit so you can like stick it on the butt or tip of your gun, depends, and then just put a strip of strapping tape over it. But if you already have padding, just put strapping tape over the padding you already have and don't really worry about it. So at this point, you cut the edges of the strapping tape and then you fold it over so it looks nice, and everyone does this. And so this is basically so you can have like a nice looking tape job. So now as I struggle to find the tape, basically all you have to do is put tape over where you did that so it lays nice and smooth. And I like to do it in two parts. I like to tape one side of the butt first, cut it, and then tape the other side. And that's just easier for me to get it to lay nice and flat. It takes up a little bit more time, but it's the best way for me not to get any air bubbles, because more air bubbles means more weight, and if you have more weight, it's going to get harder to spin your gun, and you know, that's always fun. So now at this point, you take your white electrical tape and you put one strip down the center of the butt, and then you put two strips on either side of that, just so you can get like it looking really nice. So just like we did with the strapping tape, you're gonna cut little divots at the corner on both sides, of course, so it folds down nice and flat and no air bubbles, so it just looks really nice and seamless. So at this point, I would candy cane the white electrical tape around the butt of the rifle, over the tape over like the top of the butt, and just candy cane it down and make sure it lays flat. You can see I'm struggling a little bit here, but you know, it's kind of hard to tape your rifle one-handed. So as you're candy caning your rifle down, be sure to smooth out the tape so you get no air bubbles and so it lays all nice and flat. So you candy cane your white electrical tape down to the bottom of where you have your strapping tape, and try not to overlap your electrical tape too much, because that's how you get more air bubbles. So I totally forgot to film this, but basically you poke a hole in your rifle to where the screw is, and so it's easier for you to like screw in the strap when you're done. And basically, for the tip of the rifle, you just do the same. You cut little snippets in the strapping tape and you fold it over so it looks all nice and neat. You do the same technique that you did on the butt of the rifle when putting tape over top of the tip, and it's just a lot of repetitive motion. You also do this where the other end of the strap goes, so you can protect that area as well. So now for the barrel of the gun. This is honestly the most tedious part and the part I hate doing the most. So basically, you do what you've been doing, it's just a lot more work. So you take strapping tape, you cover half the gun, and you tape it over. And be sure to cut slits where it's like curved so it folds over nice and not get all crinkly. And whatever you do, do not candy cane this. We do not candy cane strapping tape, ever. Basically, this is because it's a lot easier to get air bubbles, and like I've been saying, you don't want air bubbles in your gun. So yeah, so again, what I do is I do two strips on either side just so it lays nice and flat, and you can overlap it a little bit, and do this in 2 layers because it's a lot more protection, especially for the barrel of the gun. This is the part that's most likely to snap. Mine's already cracked a little bit because I've tossed some and dropped it, but like this is honestly the most important step, and if you do it right the first time, you won't have to redo it again. And if you don't have to redo it again, then, you know, I mean, you can redo it if you want, but I wouldn't really recommend it. unless you have to and want to check out the damage on your gun. So taping this curved part is very tricky. So like I only do half the gun at once, right? And so you smooth it over, so now you have that curve. Basically, I take my scissors and I'll cut little snippets, and I'll just like slowly cut little slits as I try to like slowly smooth down the tape so it lays nice and flat, and so there aren't any crinkly, gross air bubbles in it. After you do your strapping tape, you poke holes where where your screws go, so it's easier to find it, and then you just candy cane your electrical tape over the barrel. And again, try and like keep it nice and smooth, keep it flat, make it look nice, because this is your gun, and this part's honestly the most tedious to retape because you have to untape or unscrew your bolt, take off your strap, and like you only retape this whenever you're retaping the entire gun, not just touching it up. For the bolt, I just start at the flat end and I candy cane my black electrical tape down it. The strap is my least favorite thing to tape. Basically, you put one strip of electrical tape down the center on both sides of it, and then you put another strip on the side so you overlap the center a little bit, so then you can like fold the tape over and get tape on both sides, and that's the best way to get it to lay flat and not get all weird and gross. Now all you have left to do is screw in the bolt and the strap, and make sure the flat end of the strap is on the rifle. And once you screw on your strap, you just candy cane tape around it, around the clip, so it covers it and so you don't cut yourself or something. Congratulations, you just taped your rifle.